Never in the history of the world have there been such abundant opportunities for the person who is willing to render more service and value than they are paid. And I was very fortunate to learn this at an early age. I learned it from a mentor of mine, a man that I called Abe. And Abe took me under his wing and taught me the importance of serving and sacrificing before collecting. Now, you're going to hear me talk a lot about that today because that is the very foundation of how to inspire one to buy whatever you want, whenever you want, and still feel great about it. Put the prospect first because it's all about them. Make sure you serve and sacrifice before you collect. And when you do that, an inordinate amount of business will come back your way. You will create a situation where you will recoup many times more than you thought that you would recoup. That's the law of increasing returns. But it goes the same way, too, with what's called the law of decreasing returns. And the law of decreasing returns works the same way. If you try to harm or take advantage of another person, if you try to harm or take advantage of another company, it's going to come back to haunt you. It's going to come back to hurt you. You will encounter some type of adverse experience later on, and that's called the law of decreasing returns. Remember, the more service that you provide, the more value you provide, the greater the reward. That's when the law of increasing return really takes hold, and that's where you want to be. Picture an organization chart and the hierarchy. You have the CEO, and then you have the leadership management team, and then underneath that you may have managers, and then supervisors, and then your laborers and CSRs. That would be how most people would see as their hierarchy, as their organization chart, and that's the centralized way of looking at it. Completely wrong. I believe in a decentralized way. Flip it up. Flip it completely around. The CEO is at the bottom because the CEO's job is to create a culture that's conducive for everyone else to succeed. And at the top are your customers and clients. Now, what is a way to offer the greatest customer service to your customers and your clients? To make everybody happy in the organization. I think it goes hand in hand, too, when you talk about public speaking. You usually find leadership there as well.
Absolutely.
Leaders are able to publicly speak and do it well and master the art of persuasion, which we're going to talk about in just a minute, and not just standing in front of a crowd of thousands of people, but just in front of 15 people if that's their organization. Absolutely. And being able to persuade them to follow what the company goals are. So this is why public speaking is so important, and we're going to go through and talk about how to do it, mastering it, if you will. Support the purpose with action. Leaders take action. They don't just talk. And so when you do that, again, you're much more likely to persuade someone because, hey, they've done it, they're doing it, I see them in action. And being decisive. This is a big one because most people in this world are indecisive for fear of failure because they're going to make a mistake. And that's a whole nother presentation for another time. But the key there is to understand that that mistake is there for you to learn something new. Absolutely. There's a very fine line between success and failure, and you and I have talked about this. Successful people see mistakes as nothing more than an opportunity to learn something new. It's a tuition they had to pay to get to that knowledge.
Absolutely.
But 95 to 98% of people in this world don't see it that way. The failure is an opportunity to quit. Woe is me, self-pity,